Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I am your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and we're going to be talking about the latest news in the past week. And of course, we are going to be reviewing Daredevil Born Again, episode 5 and 6 that we're going to go into. I can't believe the fact that we are so close to the end of Daredevil Born Again. It's actually quite sad because we feel like we've been waiting so long for Daredevil Born Again, and now it's here, and now it's like, oh shit, we're nearly at the end. But before we get into that, and before we get into the news, we have a little bit of housekeeping to talk about. First things first, in this past week, I was able to go to a premiere on Tuesday night, which I can't wait to talk to you about, but that was a fantastic movie, 2.5 hours, and it's a French film, which is the second French film that we're going to be reviewing, so definitely stay tuned for that. And there was a Melbourne convention called Supernova this weekend, and thanks to Mr. Mark My Words, who booked out a panel that we got to go and talk about the highs and lows of content creation. It's the first panel I've ever been on. This was fantastic at the event. It feels a little bit weird, like going out to do a panel, but this was a lot of fun to do with everybody. The questions were good. The interaction from the crowd wasn't massive, but it was still good. And it was fantastic to see, and I really can't wait until we do more of them. There's photos currently up on our Instagram and our Facebook page, so definitely go check them out if you have a chance. Really great time. It really gives you that time to reflect on why you're doing this, the struggles you have, and everything else in between. But no, it was really good being the first time being on a panel and giving this a go. So I give a lot of props to Mr. Mike Words for booking it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got some great photos, a great bunch of guys to be up on stage with and experience that. So that's why this episode, that's why as we were recording live, is a bit later than normal, just because of the fact it's been a huge day at this convention. And again, when I go to these conventions, I always thinking, wow, some people do really good in their cosplay. Some are trying out, but then I look at the cosplay and I sometimes think to myself, it'd be great to do that. I just haven't got the time to do it or try and make it. But I appreciate everyone does. It was a great day, and great to be first time being on a panel. Also, in this past week, we also did drop our review for the brand new Looney Tunes movie called The Day That the Earth Blew Up. So definitely go check it out. It is a great film. There's a couple of surprises in there, so I won't spoil too much. So definitely give it a check out. And if you don't check out our video, definitely check out our podcast episode or give us a follow on Letterboxd, where the reviews go up straight away. So definitely go check out on that end. And of course, let's go into the news for this week, which is just a little bit of a surprise. I must admit that straight off the bat, this was not what I was expecting. The fact that we will be getting a live action Legend of Zelda movie coming in March 26 in 2027. And Nintendo announced that this week, and it's interesting because I know there was a lot of rumblings about a Legend of Zelda TV show. It was people who created Game of Thrones were looking at it, or it was going to be the same vibe. And the next thing was it going to be animated, and was it going to be in the same type of universe as the Super Mario movie? That was one thing as well. But a live action Legend of Zelda movie could look really good done right. And of course, we've seen the fan castings of Tom Holland as Link and Emma Watson as Zelda. So we've already seen that. So it'd be very curious who's going to take up this role. And of course, I know there will probably be a little bit disconnect with people going, oh, Link shouldn't talk, but of course he's going to have to talk in the movie. But he just might be a little bit quieter or might lose his voice. They might put that in somehow, but he's going to have to talk. So that's one gripe I saw. I was a bit like, yeah, I could see people complaining about that. But I'm very surprised the fact it's going to be live action. And, of course, Nintendo is going to want to pump that money. This is going to turn into a trilogy. But the fact that we have a release date and at the same time, in that same week, it is like the sequel to Godzilla versus King Kong is next. King of the Monsters. That's the sequel. And at the same time, is Sonic 4. So that's going to be a big month of March of these three movies pumping out. And of course, this is going to be Nintendo money going into this. So how this is going to look on a scale is going to be massive. Um, just like how, just what shape or form, who's going to be appearing in it. There's like so much debate on who's going to be the fan casting list. I haven't got a major pick for Link, but for Zelda, I would say Zendaya. I feel like she'd probably be a good one, or Taylor Johnson. Taylor Johnson. Anna Taylor Joy should be my next pick. But I know some people will be like, no, she is Peach, so you can't do that. But trust me, there's other characters that have appeared in different shows that it'll be fine. But yeah, lock that in. Legend of Zelda is coming in March 2027. Live action movie by Nintendo, so keep that in mind. And talking about another live action TV show that I really wasn't expecting, especially the platform it's going to be on. So Netflix has announced they will be making a live action Scooby Doo TV show that will consist of 8 episodes. There is no casting details at this moment. However, it will be basically a prequel of how these kids got together with Scoob and the origins of Mystery Incorporated. Now, we have seen this story. I think there's at least 3 different movies of this basically being told. And not to mention this last live action movie, Scoob, kind of touched on that. Scooby Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, kind of touched on that as well, but briefly. There was the animated feature that came out called Scoob, which was really good. And I think that doesn't get enough justice. But a Netflix TV show that's basically a prequel, how this is going to look, how is Scoob going to look? How many, because they want to talk about the layers, about them together, how they got together. It's going to be a modern reimagining, which in the past has been really good, and at the same time it has been really bad. Yeah, so I would say this being Netflix, keep that expectations low, very low, 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 low. So keep those expectations sitting around there for this, because I don't know how that's going to look, but that's. But you tell me, who do you want us to be casting the brand new Scooby Doo TV show? Who do you want to see as Fred, Daphne, Shaggy, Velma? Who do you want to see to play these characters? And do you think they should just leave it as a season 1? Because most likely, usually Netflix only does usually leave it as a season 1, so maybe not a season 2. But yes, that will be coming. So it's just been announced. So no casting has been announced at this stage. So stay tuned when we do have that. But at this rate, I'd say same thing as Legend of Zelda. I'd say probably season 1 we'll be seeing roughly about 2027 on Netflix. This will be dropping. But Scooby Doo fans, there's a brand new gang on their arrival that will be coming. Speaking of another arrival, finally, so a game that's been based, a game called Hypercharge, which we have reviewed on this podcast before. It's a fantastic game. Now, it's a game that's been dropped on Steam, then it dropped on Switch, dropped on Switch, and then last year dropped on Xbox, and they've done an announcement trailer where it's finally will be coming to PlayStation for the very first time, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and it will be dropping this summer. And it's currently on wish list at the moment. I highly recommend you picking up this game. It is a lot of fun. It's split screen. It's like Toy Soldiers meets Toy Story. It's fantastic, and absolutely props to the guys that do make this game, because it's only about 8 dudes that are making this. I think it does flux up and down, but it's only 8 guys that make this game and maintain it. It will be cross-platform play between Xbox, between PlayStation and PC. It will be cross-platform. There is more content coming. I know some people say that there's a little bit less. There's enough content in it. The developers have said that they will be making more content. They're just trying to get this ready for PlayStation. Once they have all the platforms completely optimized, they'll be steam ahead on new content, new levels, new weapons moving forward. They just really wanted to get all the platforms smashed out and moving forward. But yes, finally, after so long, Hypercharge is finally coming into PlayStation. So put that on your wish list because it is coming. So get ready for that. I'm so excited. Now, this particular little thing I've had is a bit two different stories I've got in here. One story is that the brand new Blade movie, which has basically been in development hell, is going to be canceled. Marvel looks to be canceling it. The other rumor that we have been seeing is that they've got a brand new director to take it on, who's Chad Stahelski, who directed the John Wick series, will be coming on and taking over the director helm. Now, look, I know a lot of people have said the fact that they should just write off Blade altogether. I want to see the Blade movie, especially being in the MCU, seeing Blade back on the big screen. It's complete injustice on what's happened with the Blade movie. Unfortunately, things have just happened. The reshuffling, the losing of directors, the story. I would love to know what's happened with that movie altogether. I hope it doesn't get scratched. It has been announced. We have semi the cast. I just hope we do get that finally get that movie. Actually, it's funny. Actually, come to think about it, is that I'm pretty sure it's meant to be coming out the end of next year if there's no delays. Where are we? No delays with this one because it comes out after Avengers. Blade franchise. Blade ain't looking good at all, especially with the brand Blade, which has gone up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Where are we? Here we go. So, which originally the director of Shang-Chi was going to be in it. Yeah, it was going to be released last year, but that got delayed, so it's still currently in limbo altogether. There's still no definitive date, unfortunately, for this, which really sucks. On the upcoming films, yes, it's completely removed from the slate altogether. So at the same time, same time with Marvel, we've got Armor Wars. I feel like is just it's been announced and still been in complete disarray of when we're actually going to be getting that. Black Panther 3, we know it's currently being worked at the moment, and Denzel Washington will be joining the cast for that third one. There was also the untitled X-Men movie that will be coming. That will be after Secret Wars and Shang-Chi 2, Doctor Strange 3. That's all the current list. But yes, Blade has completely been up, down, left, right with that film. So I really do hope that we finally do get some definitive answers as coming up with Comic-Con or D23, that we get something definitive about that movie or when it's going to be coming. Because, at the moment, with Marvel, which we're going to be going into a little bit further detail, is that at this stage, we have Thunderbolts, which is May the 2nd, which is we're going to get into that in a second. Fantastic Four, which is this year, which is July 25th. Avengers Doomsday, May 2026. Spider-Man 4 in the MCU, technically, which is July 31st, 2026. And Secret Wars, which is May 2027. That's the series. So there's nothing after Avengers Secret Wars that has been announced. And what has been the big announcement this week is that we have got the official cast, or starting cast, if you will, on Avengers Doomsday, which was very interesting. They announced it by director's chair, by director's chair, by director's chair, by director's chair, by director's chair. They did a live stream that felt like it went forever, and it was gut wrenching because I had to go to work, and they only announced the very first three names at the very start. That I was like, oh, okay, that's everyone we know so far. And then I didn't give the rest of the announcements. So, calling off the list, ladies and gentlemen, ranters and rantettes, we've got Chris Hemsworth as Thor, which is no surprise. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, which was no surprise. Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, no surprise. Sebastian Stan as Bucky, no surprise. Ledra Wright as Shuri, which was no surprise. Paul Rudd, no surprise, as Ant-Man. White Russell as U.S. Agent, yes, a surprise. A little bit. I'll get into that. To go as a Namor, which I'm so glad to see Namor is back. He was one of them. I was like, yes, I was very excited seeing his name back. The fact that you have this really powerful villain slash hero slash character that's as powerful as the Hulk and could mow everyone down so easily. He's just been under the sea this whole time. And he's never made another appearance until now, which is fantastic. We're going to Airborne back is the Thing, which is no surprise there. Shang-Chi, which is glad he's going to get some love. Florence Pugh is Elena, which is fantastic. Now here's where we get a little bit interesting. Kelsey Grammer back as Beast, which we did see at the end of the Marvels in his little cameo, and pure Beast form, very much like X-Men 97. And we've also got Lewis Pullman as Bob as Sentry. So, of course, I guess he's not dying in Thunderbolts at all. Danny Ramirez as Young Falcon. Yusuf Quinn as Giant Storm, which is no surprise. David Harper as Red Guardian. Wilson Duke as Baku, which I think that was an absolute win, which was fantastic seeing him. Hannah John Kerman as Ghost, which was another character. I was like, okay, I guess you're not dying in Thunderbolts when I thought you would be a character that would be dying. Tom Hiddleston as Loki, which was no shock, but Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Ian McKellen is coming back as Magneto. Alan Cumming is coming back as Nightcrawler, which we haven't seen him since X-Men 2. Rebecca Regina as Mystique, which we haven't seen her since X-Men 3 and her cameo in First Class, as well as James Marsden as Cyclops, which he better be wearing his iconic X-Men 97 X-Men with the blue and the yellow. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see that black leather anymore. That's what I want to see. Channing Tatum's Gambit. Now you got to remember, some people might not remember as well, or know it all, is that there was a deleted scene in Deadpool Wolverine where he does see the portal opening that looks like Channing Tatum's Gambit was going to jump through. Looks like he has, and he will be joining them potentially if it is the same one, as is the same Gambit. That's another thing. Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic, which is no shock. And of course, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. Now, I'd like a lot of people to remember. Now, there is people going on saying the fact, there's so many people that's missing. I'm like, this is going to be I going to go with this cast that this is the main cast that going into this film, which is why this episode is called Avengers versus X-Men that we might be seeing, or we're going to be seeing them teaming up all together. Now, I assume I'm going to take a swing for the fence in this, is that the X-Men that we're going to be seeing in this, because Kelsey Grammer's Beast is going to be the X-Men that would be the rest of the universe that we've seen in the Marvels. And that carrying soon with Kelsey Grammer, that is I think is that we're going to see them there. Now, I do understand there's a lot of names that didn't get announced, but they most likely will be in the movie altogether, either on minor roles or smaller roles, or they're being saved for Secret Wars altogether. But this is going to be our main cast. It's a fantastic stack cast. So we've got some of the Young Avengers. Of course, we don't have all of them, like Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop. So we don't have them, but they're going to be rocking up soon because they're going to be the new Avengers. Of course, Miss Marvel isn't in there. Captain Marvel isn't there. Sorry. So there's a lot of people who aren't in it because there's no Spider-Man. I did see a wonderful meme that was like, just don't forget that every Avengers movie where Hawkeye doesn't appear, they lose. So if they keep it that trend, the Avengers and X-Men will lose altogether in this because Hawkeye has not been mentioned, or either Hawkeye. But I'm so excited, and not to mention all those people that were like, "Oh my god, again, all these people have been announced. Just wait. The film's currently in production. There's obviously going to be leaked set photos that we're going to see, and the cast will fill out as we get closer. And after Fantastic Four, hopefully, that will give us some direction going straight into Avengers Doomsday, because there's no other movie, and all the TV shows that are coming out after that do not connect to this overall story at this moment. So with Ironheart, Wonder Man, Marvel Zombies, I don't see these connecting to Fantasy Four or Doomsday at all. So that's completely separate. So that's going to be completely separate. So Fantastic Four is the last go, basically, like what we got with Captain Marvel and what we got with Black Panther, leading into Avengers Doomsday. So, also, not to mention, little people bitching and moaning about how long this announcement took is just shut up. Just enjoy the fact that we got this announcement all together. So there was going to be so much in this. I'm glad we got a call cast. There was some fantastic surprises in there. Good luck to all these actors and trying to keep it quiet going into Avengers Doomsday. And probably I'm really happy that Channing Tatum as Gambit's going to get his moment to shine again. The fact he just didn't get that one and done. Mystique is back. Nightcrawler is back. Again, Ian McKellen as Magneto. Like, that is going to be awesome to see the fact in this universe. And I cannot wait to see that all these characters interacting with each other is going to be nuts. We're getting X-Men. We're getting Fantastic Four. We're getting Black Panther. We're getting Captain America. Yes, it's not Steve Rogers, but we're still getting Captain America. It doesn't matter. So we're getting Captain America. We'll get the Thunderbolts together. Like, this is just win, 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 win. And I'm going to be playing surprise at what's becoming. Now, what I was going to mention about Thunderbolts too was the fact that with this character announcement, it kind of did spoil that probably Taskmaster is going to be the one that's going to die in Thunderbolts. It's going to be because they did a brand new trailer for Thunderbolts, and which originally we did get in the old Avengers Tower. That originally Taskmaster was there, but in the brand new one, she's not there anymore. So it's most likely she's going to die, especially with this casting that she's not here at all. So it looks like she will be carked off very quickly. But Sentry, even though he's meant to be the villain in this movie, technically, which is being made out to be, and still being blacked out in the blacked out altogether, is that he will be joining the team. So the fact that going to Avengers Doomsday, Avengers have their own Superman going up against Doctor Doom. Oh, it's going to be fucking brilliant. Tell you what. Just go enjoy the ride altogether. So that was the massive news for Avengers Doomsday. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And again, not only do Avengers have their Superman with Sentry, is the fact that we've also got Namor, who's basically Superman again, just as powerful. So we got so lot and X-Men, and it makes you wonder what they're going to fight, if not each other, because that's in line with the comics. They're going to be fighting with each other going into Avengers. So think about that altogether. So going on to the brand new, obviously the latest episodes of Daredevil Born Again. Now this is a little. I had a wonderful time being on the latest episode of. We've also got Mr. DJ Fly High for Come Past. Appreciate, man. Did you see the photo edit of Taskmaster that popped on social media? Yes, I did, man. And we were just talking about that on how the fact that Taskmaster is there, and the next one she's not. So most likely she will be taken out by Sentry or taken out by something, and the mission is going to fail terribly, unfortunately. But yes, and don't forget also with Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is coming out on May the 2nd. And after we see Thunderbolts, just keep this in mind, which I'm going to as well, is that after we see Thunderbolts, is that it's going to be less than 1 year till we get Avengers Doomsday and we're going into that theater and watching the next Avengers movie, and we're going to hear that theme again, and it's going to be all right. It's going to be what's all right in the world. It's going to be what's, just hearing that, it's going to be awesome, and I'm so down for that. But yes, Daredevil Born Again. So we got 2 episodes that dropped this week. One semi felt like a filler, and one other was a solid case going right back into the story. Now, also, I had a wonderful time. I appeared on the latest episode of the Galactic Core podcast with Andy, so definitely go check that out. He's always fantastic to chat with about this stuff. Jumped on his show, guest star on that, so go check out his show if you've got time. Always a great time with him. So yeah, let's get into Daredevil Born Again. So one episode, which we got a wonderful cameo of Mr. Khan. Wasn't expecting that. I do love how. Also, we're also going to go into spoiler territory. So spoilers. Left, right, and center. You know exactly what's going to be coming up. So we're going to be going into that. But yes, we got Mr. Khan, which is obviously Miss Marvel's dad. It was fantastic seeing him. I also did like how he had a little uh, uh, Pomco fought. Oh my god. Pop figure of Miss Marvel, which was trying to show Daredevil and like kind of forgot the fact that he's blind. He's like, see, I've got this, and he's like, oh yeah. So basically, what we got. So we're going through this TV show. We see the we see the gangs which have been upset with Fisk and what he's been doing. Is that there's about 1.5 restitution on because of what happened with the drug deal at the port where they killed the people in the truck. So the idea for this mission was to go steal a diamond from the safe. So this episode was very much showing that even without his suit, Daredevil can be quite useful, which we already know that. But in a situation where he can't be fully just breaking necks and breaking people's legs, that he had to be a little bit more creative. And just like how it just makes you think of just how smart Matt is, especially in this scenario and what he's been doing, and you're still and just showing again like how much he needs to become Daredevil again because how corrupt the world is, and it's just a fluke that he was that close to it. Of course, I know it's storytelling, but just the fluke, the fact he was this that close, and you always and how useless sometimes people can be robbing a bank because he walked straight back in, and the guy was like, "Somebody close the door!" Like what? Like no one closed the door, so it just shows you how stupid they can be. But what I love about this episode is, as I said, it just shows it's still action in it, but it just shows you how crafty Matt can be, especially when he's doesn't have the suit and when he doesn't have the things all together. That he has to be a little bit more tactical and all. And I'll just thank you to Mr. Mark My Words for coming past the live stream, which this lovely man, which you did miss a little bit earlier, we were just chatting about the panel, which went really well today. We're only 4 hours removed from that panel, which was absolutely sick. Which we did. Shout out to you, Mark, for organizing it. It was a great day, and the photos look so good. The photos look so good, which I like. From that, multiple different photo people were taking the photos, which is fantastic. But such a good time, and I can't wait till the next panel, man. Can't wait till the next panel. We will both be there. I know. I'm agree with you, 100%. So happy with them. How clear they are. Uh, how clear they are, and how good they look. So yeah, so happy with them. I know, man. I'm right there with you. It was such a good day. I can't wait for the next one. Right there. But yeah, so this episode really showed the tactile with Matt. And we got this cameo. Trust me when I say Mr. Khan is not the cameo I thought we were beginning in Daredevil Born Again. If you gave me a list of at least 40 MCU characters, he is not one of the characters I thought we'll get at all. And not to mention, it does do a great reminder of the fact that there is multiple different heroes in this Marvel world, but doesn't mean everybody knows everybody. He does say, Mr. Khan does say, "Oh, my daughter Kamala Khan. Have you heard of her?" And he's like, "No," because of course, Matt's not going to know what happened with the Marvels. Of course, he's not going to know about what she's done because he's in Jersey or where she is. Of course, he's not going to know all of that. But I really do hope the fact that we do get Charlie Cox as Daredevil in Secret Wars or Doomsday, he does really deserve it and being on that big screen in the Avengers movie 110%. But we do get the villains for this episode. They're obviously trying to get that diamond. Of course, Matt does the old switcheroo with it and does save the day, which we get a great fight scene at the end, just as brutal of how he breaks the guy's legs. I'm just like, ooh, now that looks painful, really painful in that scene. I was like, but even though this episode could be arguing the fact that it could be filler and not filler, it's still a solid episode. It still shows you just the street level with Matt and how things can happen with just at a bank of just a robbery gone wrong and what he has to do in New York City. And not from that episode, then we get the next episode that goes right back into the main story of him hunting Muse. The fact that Muse has been using people's blood to do over 60 murals across the city, and just the fact that he's a serial killer and the New York police are absolutely useless in trying to track him down, which makes perfect sense why Fisk launches the vigilante task force with all the crooked cops, which I believe is going to be a battle between them and Punisher and Daredevil all together. With the fact that Daredevil's brought Muse down, he might or might not, because go remember the fact that we are getting 18 episodes for this season 2 is being shot right at the moment with 9 episodes. We have 9 episodes for this episode. But the fact that showing just how gruesome and dark Muse is, we see him catch the girl, stick a needle in her, and start draining her blood like it's Candy Mountain. Like, just it's not just a slow drip. Like, he gets a decent amount of blood from her. Like, she's about to die. And this is the dark and gritty stuff I want from Marvel. I know Marvel's very much trying to cater for everybody, and that's where some shows like Daredevil Born Again appeals to the older Marvel unit, older Marvel fan base. And then we have Miss Marvel, which is going to hit a different kettle of fish. And then we've got Ironheart that's going to go in that direction. And then we've got Marvel Zombies, which is going to be MA, which is exciting to see. But, just we get a villain that's just absolutely dark altogether. And you just see, like, which Matt, we see him finally say the words and, like, fuck it. And it becomes Daredevil once again after the 4 episodes. See him in a suit. We have a solid action scene. Him nearly kill Muse in this whole thing, which is brutal to see. I was like, oh, is it gonna happen again for episode 1? But him becoming Daredevil again feels so earned going into this. Seeing him back in the suit, that he's got to do the right thing. And I'm loving the parallels between him and Fisk, becoming who they are once again. Watching Fisk struggle with the fact that he can't get shit done, and the rich basically control him. And then we get a cameo from the Swordsman, which we haven't seen from Hawkeye. That's a cameo. Actually, that's a cameo I was expecting, because we did get an announcement that he would be returning. But seeing the fact that we're slowly seeing these characters transition back into their iconic as Kingpin, as Daredevil. Subtle things like Fisk breaking his jacket, going, oh, it's not fitting anymore, because the fact that he's getting bigger again and going back to being the Kingpin because he has to, because he's getting annoyed. Which pretty much I feel for him in a particular way, is like every politician. The fact that you want to get all this done, you love this city, which he does. He loves the city, and he can't do anything, and he doesn't want to rely on vigilantes. And then the cops are useless, so he makes this task force, and everything that's going on with Vanessa, and we get this brutal beat down between him and Adam, which he's talking about a sledgehammer. It's a great equalizer. It can be a great equalizer, and gives Adam, and they get in a good fight together. And at the same time, and I swear, every time Daredevil, you hear that iconic music is fantastic. So again, episode by episode, it's going for strength, for strength, for strength. So I have no doubt the last 3 episodes of this show are gonna be intense. They're gonna be good. There's gonna be more action in these going forward, and I definitely hope it ends on a massive high. And not to mention, there was a leak this week where we see Matt as Daredevil in the black suit with the Double D logo that looks absolutely crisp from top to bottom with his suit. And not to mention all the rumors about Foggy over there, which, we know what that's about. We know what that's all about. But, seeing all this, these episodes are just fantastic. And Not once was I looking at my phone. I am so involved in this. Just sit back in this world. I do wish Spider-Man would make an appearance. Just something little bit. No, we're not going to get that, and that's fine. And there's a whole rumor with the Defenders might make an appearance. Jessica Jones. The cast list for season 2 is getting bigger along the way. But we're at that point. We're at this episode 5, and then and basically, Fisk is almost Kingpin, and Daredevil is back as being Daredevil. And not to mention, we also got the mid-season trailer, which we also see Bullseye doing the iconic one of the covers of the Marvel Comics with a bullet in his mouth. So that we know that's going to be a showdown between those two guys. And that fight, that rematch between Daredevil and Bullseye is going to be absolutely brutal. And that's going to be fantastic Marvel television right there. And just on top of that, we're going to be in Daredevil season 2 next year and X-Men 97 season 2 next year. Oh my God, it's going to be a great year for television and movies next year. It's just stacking up. But above all else, these 2 episodes, again, fantastic. Again, brutal. Great character development. Great symmetry between our 2 main characters. The next time these 2 are going to go up against each other, you're really going to feel it. The emotional weight, them talking to each other. Are we going to see Fisk back in his white suit and going back to Underground? Will he fight as Mayor? Will he have the 2 roles together? I think we're all going to be seeing that coming up in these last 3 episodes. But I'd love to know, how do you feel about the Daredevil Born Again TV show? How are you feeling at this point? What do you want to see in the last 3 episodes? Can you believe the fact that we're nearly at the end of these 3 episodes, which is insane to me to think about the fact that we're that close to the very end. But at the same time, is that when that ends, we go straight into The Last of Us. We go straight into Andor. And we're going to be having week after week Andor, Last of Us, Andor, Last of Us for a period of time. And of course, the movies all sprinkled in all between. So definitely like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff for the podcast, because we're going to make sure to keep you up to date. We're going to make sure the fact that you're not missing a single beat and what to keep out for. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ranters and rantettes, I would like to say thank you very much for joining me for this episode. And until next time, happy ranting. Ooh.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends.